Alright guys, so I'm going to start covering all the dock openings that you can go for in AoE or that you should go for. We'll start with the most conventional, which will be dock, town center, or just fast dock in general. So try and find your first hunt just like normal. It's a little bit further away here, but we'll just go for it anyway. AI's not going to rash me, XD. So, treat this just like how you would a fast second town center opening. For now, go for that hunt to start with. You just gather off the berries. You can also gather off the wood to start with as well, but it's not really all that necessary. And I will actually be taking hunting dogs here, which you can take and you can skip, depending on your preference and depending on how many fishing boats you're intending to get. Obviously, the more that you get, the less likely you are to actually need it in the mid game, but at the same time, the more wood you gather early on, the more boats you get, the more wood you're going to need to gather early on, which paradoxically is going to mean that you're stuck on less villages on the food, so you can't really boom that either, and you've really got to wait for the actual fishing eco to kick in. And that's the thing too, even though it's a wonderful early game food steroid, it takes a while for it to really pay itself off. The boats are twice the price of the villages. So yeah, get 3 or 4 villages on that starting hunt. You can take hunting dogs, you can skip it, it's totally up to you. Most players would prefer to skip it, unless they're feeling really confident in their ability to play greedily through their opponent's aggression. But at the same time, at lower levels of play, people are less likely to punish things properly when you are playing the greedier player. So there's a level of play where just being as greedy as you can is extremely powerful. It's inland. I found 2 sources of water here. Taking one for now. We're going to go single dock and town center. You can open double dock and even triple dock before your first town center, but then the likelihood of you actually needing early game military gets more and more high. So, thing is, I've only stuck with my starting amount of food gatherers, and because there's no place for her to fish, just going to come back onto the wood as well. We're just going to get a couple of boats. You can get up to 3 boats, or 2 boats and 2 docks, I think, before aging up to age 2. But I wouldn't leave it any longer than that, because then you're really starting to put yourself behind technologically. I'm being a little bit greedy here, because basically once I'd scouted out 2 ponds, I probably should have just went and started to scout my opponent. But yeah, even with 4 villages on the food and not 5, and with hunting dogs, as anyone other than Babs, you're not really going to be able to afford your age up yet. You're still going to need to do a little bit of fishing. You might as well queue up that second boat. Just leave all these gatherers on wood, because the beauty is as well, it makes it easy to do the transition to your stone economy from here. So age up about 15 or 16 bills. You probably don't want to leave it any longer than that. 15 to 17 bills will be okay. It's just that people going for a quick second town center, they're going to be able to get that up. We'll get the age up happening off 12 or 13 villages if they're really precise with it. And first barracks first spearmen, you'd be hit by now. It's not so hard to defend because you can actually repair with the ships as well as attack. And while I'm aging up, I might as well get a 3rd ship. That means I'm still growing my economy even while aging up, so that's a bit of an advantage of my opponent. I can cut a little bit of this gathering here, and even bring these guys off, or have them just chop here at the really close trees. But once these 2 go down, I'm probably going to want to actually bring these guys back to the wood line. And the thing is as well, if you're ever in a situation where you're population capped and both your dock and your town center can train villagers, train an economy unit, go for the fishing over the one villager, because they are worth more for that one population. And the thing is as well, if you're on the water, just be careful to not get too many fishing ships. The most I'd really like to go up to here is 4, and even still I'd rather get 3 and take net lures, and actually look at taking another dock on another pond, because the thing is, it's not going to last forever. Not like villages, where you can just allocate them to another resource all the way across the map. with your fishing boats, they're sort of stuck to that one pond on maps like Inland or Swamp Pass. Maps like Treasure Island, it's not so bad, but just remember, all the efficiency that they've got over a regular villager starts to go out the window when they're not able to just drop off over such short distances. Like this is, you know, there's no travel time. It's only like a second here and there. So it's really not a problem. But yeah, basically just the main thing is just focus on keeping producing villagers and fitting in fishing boats where possible. And then otherwise just continue to open up like normal. I can actually probably choose to guard this gold mine here as well, because it keeps an eye on that stone and on this berries. I could even just go for a stack second town center if I think someone's going to rush me. Which is another thing as well, if people are playing a hybrid map, so that's a map with both land and water to attack from, and they see you opening with more than one dock, they probably will try some sort of funky panicked rush against you, whether it's a spear rush, a villager rush, a cavalry before town center opening, something like that. So, you know, you can definitely go for the town center right here in this little space. Have, you know, instant drop off to these two resources, save on a couple of storehouses. It just makes it easier to start getting going. Like, I've got 13 villagers on the wood, haven't even started gold gathering yet. And, you know, I can't afford any military production at this point. I've gone up to 4 fishing boats, as well as taken the fishing tech. So that's put me behind by about 500 wood. And it's still going to take another probably 2 minutes before this well and truly pays off. So now, you know, I can start my Asabara production, but the thing is, it was pretty tight actually getting enough gold there to actually be able to keep getting, you know, like chisel if I want to go for quick age 3. Because this sort of style is actually really good for playing fast tech behind it. If you've got just enough military to defend, you might as well start saving for age 3 in this position. And I am going to have to start actually getting more fishing boats as well as start hunting. And I mean, the beauty is I've got all these villagers now banked up on the wood. So just as I'm starting to add all this production, keep in mind that you're going to actually have a big uptick in your food and gold expenses. So you can put these guys back on the gold, for instance. Start saving for age 3. Already gathering the stone for it as well. We're just in a really nice spot all round. We're only 8 minutes into the game, not even that. And even though my population count is really not that much higher in terms of eco pop over a regular build, it's going to really start being worthwhile, especially if I can get up to 5 or 6 fishing ships. But yeah, realistically, if you're playing on the cutting edge and actually spending well, you won't actually really notice a massive food bank, even with this many fishing boats, because you'll instinctively have less food gatherers on the land. Like, I'm really only starting to resaturate my food eco up past the numbers of my wood and my gold bills. And especially if you've got to get military to defend, or if you want to start doing a bit of raiding. Throwing away my scout here, but I'm up against, is it, oh, Agamemnon. I was going to say it's Eldor because he's getting so many friggin' towers. But in this position, you know, it's a good idea, say, to age up. And I haven't really even fielded all that much military. I've been pretty lucky though that my opponent's not been attacking me. Let's say he's going for just a really greedy opening. Rather than getting those towers, he gets a town center instead, and maybe adds even more production and gets an armory. Starts going age 3, but I'm already age 3 myself, and now this food eco really going to start taking off. But now I'm sort of at the point where I'm going to have just as much land food economy as water eco, and it's going to start trickling dry soon enough. Still got a couple minutes yet, but I mean, in this position I could even start looking to go for the water myself on other spots. Obviously it's still gonna, it basically puts you back at square one in terms of your actual wood investment though. Like, it's going to cost all that wood again to resaturate these, and I'm already starting to bank a little bit of food. Train a little bit more here. Can use stone, I'm actually banking that. So yeah guys, it's starting to get a little bit indecisive, I'd say, from this point. But this is sort of the point where you can actually start, you know, deciding to counter your opponent. Haven't done a great job at raiding or, you know, even scouting here. He's got axes there, so, and spears, so we'll just fight with everything together. And well, now that I'm age 3, I'm Persian, so we're just gonna go for immortals, lol. He can't make anything to defeat them. But yeah, guys, that's just how to play a really tight early game fishing eco and turn it into a 2 town center and offensive unit situation. Even put yourself in the capacity of being able to go for a quick age 3. Obviously I could have gathered a little bit more gold and wood here, and I'd be in a wonderful spot to have a huge force, a lot of production buildings. Get a lot of my age 3 upgrades already, and my opponent is actually starting to really fall behind in both eco and tech because I went for more water eco than he did. So and the thing is as well, if your opponent really starts trying to pressure you, he's having to cut quarters on economy relative to you. So if you can get over the hurdle and reduce the amount of damage he deals, you end up well ahead a lot of the time, and in the position where if you don't go age 3 like I've done here, you've got enough resources to pretty much end the game with the age 2 timing push. And yeah, this is probably a good little demo of what I mean. Just set your fishing boats to attack, to repair. What you can even do is make sure this one's not going to take any damage. You can even have 1 or 2 of them attack, or what you can do is have them shoot, then you go in for the repair again, then you can shoot again once their attack cooldown's down, and it's a really efficient way of actually taking the fight. You know, I was even slightly late on repairing that, need a reasonable age 2 army attacking that, and the dock still, there's plenty of time for you to respond, start repairing, and for you to also bring your army across and clean things up. But yeah guys, it's a bit of a tip on how to open with docks while still being pretty efficient, and leaving yourself open to go for an age 2 town center as well. Set up for age 3, or to go, yeah, for like an age 2 timing push of some description, while still being really conventional in terms of your overall base layout and build order. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.